Welcome to Al-Kebulan Archives. Today, we're uncovering 5,000 years of Africa's forgotten history, the story they never taught you. For too long, African history has been reduced to two chapters, slavery and colonization. But that's not even half the story. Long before Europe left the Stone Age, Africa had already forged empires that rivaled Rome, out-traded medieval China, and built monuments that still baffle modern engineers. The continent we call Africa was known to some of its earliest inhabitants as Al-Kebulan, meaning Mother of Mankind, or Garden of Eden, a name that honors its deep roots as the cradle of humanity and civilization. Africa wasn't a blank canvas before 1884. It was a living mosaic of kingdoms, city-states, and stateless societies, each shaping the world in its own way. This is the story we will explore, a 5,000-year journey through brilliance, innovation, and forgotten power. We begin in the ancient era, where two powerful civilizations dominated the Nile River Valley, Nubia and Kemet, or ancient Egypt. Before the pharaohs, there was Taseti, the world's first monarchy, whose legacy informed the monumental achievements of ancient Egypt, like the Great Pyramid of Giza, and advancements in medicine and astronomy. Known as the Land of the Archers, its Nubian kings commanded lands across Kush, Kemet, and parts of Arabia. They were so wealthy, ancient scribes called them rich beyond belief. These archers, engineers, and traders laid the foundation for what would become Kemet, known today as ancient Egypt. History often forgets. Egypt wasn't the start. It was the student of Nubia. Many of Egypt's symbols, religious systems, and monarchy concepts were inherited from their southern neighbors. At its height, ancient Egypt dazzled the world with monumental achievements, none more iconic than the Great Pyramid of Giza, a feat of engineering still unmatched. Egyptian medicine, astronomy, and written language, hieroglyphics, laid intellectual foundations that influenced civilizations far beyond the Nile. Temples like Karnak and Luxor bore witness to a society deeply spiritual, artistically gifted, and surprisingly advanced in science and governance. The kingdom of Kush rose after Egypt's decline. From Napata and Meroe, Kushite pharaohs conquered Egypt itself, ruling as the 25th dynasty. Their pyramids still stand, smaller but far more numerous than Egypt's. Kush was also ruled by powerful queens known as Kandekes. Queen Amanirenas famously resisted Roman expansion in Africa, defending her kingdom from northern colonizing forces. She captured key Roman outposts like Syene, Philae, and Elephantine, and even brought home a bronze head of Emperor Augustus as a trophy, and had it buried under a temple doorway so Kushites could symbolically walk over it. She remains one of the most successful military leaders to push back against Roman imperialism on the African continent. Meanwhile, in the western desert, the Garamantes built underground irrigation canals and desert cities that stunned Roman invaders. Africa's deserts were no barrier. They were highways of innovation. Moving into the classical era, Africa's power extended beyond the Nile, dominating global trade and pioneering new technologies. By 800 BCE, Carthage had become a global force. This North African empire was a maritime superpower that rivaled Rome, with a formidable navy, economy, and mercenary armies that reshaped Mediterranean politics. To the east, the kingdom of Aksum in modern Ethiopia built towering stelae, minted coins, and traded from Rome to India. They were also pioneers of early Christianity in Africa and engineering marvels. Farther inland, the mysterious Nok culture of West Africa was already mastering ironwork by 1000 BCE, centuries before Europe would. They created lifelike terracotta statues and developed essential metallurgical knowledge. Between 800 CE and 1600 CE, African civilizations flourished in a true golden age of wealth and knowledge across the Sahel and coastlines. In West Africa, the Ghana Empire pioneered trans-Saharan trade, exporting gold so pure, Arab traders were dazzled. They were succeeded by Mali, whose emperor Mansa Musa became the wealthiest man in history. On his pilgrimage to Mecca, he gave away so much gold, he destabilized economies across North Africa. Under Mansa Musa's reign, Timbuktu became a beacon of learning and culture. Timbuktu's universities held secrets of astronomy and medicine, centuries before Europe's Renaissance. Musa founded libraries, built the legendary Sankore University, and attracted scholars from across the Islamic world. The Mali Empire wasn't just rich in gold, it was rich in knowledge, art, and architectural brilliance that echoed across centuries. The Songhai people originally lived within the Mali Empire. Gao, the Songhai capital, was a vassal state under Mali for a time. As Mali declined, the Songhai rose to power, eventually surpassing Mali in territory and influence. By the 15th century, under Sunni Ali and later Askia Muhammad, Songhai became the largest empire in African history. In Songhai, Emperor Askia Muhammad expanded the empire even further, building universities and bureaucracies that rivaled any in Europe. Timbuktu, far from being a myth, held libraries with over 700,000 manuscripts on science, law, and philosophy. Further south, Great Zimbabwe rose from stone. With no mortar, its walls stood firm, evidence of sophisticated engineering. It was a city of trade, politics, and culture, connected to global routes reaching China and Persia. On Africa's east coast, Swahili city-states like Kilwa, Mombasa, and Zanzibar thrived as trade hubs, linking Africa to Arabia, Persia, and India through a maritime Silk Road. Africa's story doesn't end with colonization, it resists. Even when faced with external pressures, African nations displayed incredible resilience and military genius. The Ashanti Empire of Ghana defied British conquest for decades, wielding golden thrones and centralized governance. In southern Africa, Shaka Zulu revolutionized warfare, introducing disciplined regiments, encirclement tactics, and psychological warfare that shook the British Empire. In Angola, Queen Nzinga defied Portuguese invaders for over 30 years. A master of both battlefield and court, she was a diplomatic and military genius, delaying Portuguese colonization by nearly 40 years. When diplomacy failed, Nzinga became a military strategist, leading prolonged guerrilla warfare that frustrated colonial forces for decades. She was also a fierce anti-slavery resistor, offering sanctuary to escaped enslaved Africans and opposing the Portuguese slave trade at every turn. She stands as a towering symbol of African resistance and female leadership. Before the Berlin Conference in 1884, Africa was not a void waiting to be civilized. It was a continent alive with systems, alliances, and leadership that the world chose to forget. From Tassetti's vows to Timbuktu's books, Africa's past proves this continent was never behind. It pioneered paths others later followed, thriving through innovation, diplomacy, and trade. The kingdoms we've explored today, from Garamante's desert cities to Zulu military science, were just a glimpse of pre-colonial brilliance. But this world did not disappear by accident. It was systematically disrupted, first through the transatlantic and trans-Saharan slave trades, and later through formal colonization. Long before borders were drawn on maps, people were removed, economies were reshaped, and societies were destabilized. In our next episode, we examine how slavery and colonization worked together, how human exploitation laid the groundwork for imperial control. We dive into the Berlin Conference and how a single meeting redrew an entire continent overnight, fueling conflicts that still burn today, and how decisions made in distant capitals permanently altered the fate of an entire continent. Which empire or civilization challenged what you thought you knew about Africa? Which empire amazed you most? Let us know in the comments below. And subscribe to Alkebulan Archives as we uncover the story of slavery, colonization, and the forces that reshaped Africa.